Hey team, how are we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and today we're going to talk about an interesting subject and get to the point, so to speak, as we talk about bayonet fighting. Bayonet fighting, it's an extension of where warfare started, whether it be the little pig sticker like so, okay, and then it worked into the Iron Ages, etc., where we started bringing in the gladius, okay, the Roman sword designed for under the shield, stabbing, thrusting, etc. Not so much chopping like you traditionally see on the TV. But what we're going to be talking about today, and beautifully given to us by Carl P, is the bayonet. This was the bayonet from the 303. This is the one that the Jap is allergic to, that the Hun was allergic to, the VC was allergic to. Everyone that Australia brought this to felt its point and decided the Turk as well, for those that love the kebab. They were all allergic to the feel of it. And what happened was Australians became masters of it. Some of the things Australians have been most famous for, one was their aggression with bayonet fighting. So is the Kiwi, okay, which makes us Anzacs. But also our night fighting, our ambushing, our discipline, our mateship. Yep. And our jungle fighting. Did I say that? Let's get to it. Let's get your comments. I'm going to put on the spectacles of wisdom. And if this is your first time here, feel free to subscribe. Come to the trenches, live your life in the trenches. Don't nerf yourself and have a good life, but also have the cuts and the bruises that say you actually lived it. So, what are we saying? I'm getting there, mate. Simon Powell is in a bit of a drama at the moment. G'day, Aussie. How you going? How you been? Nah, not good. I haven't been good. Flip. G'day, buddy. How you going? Guys and gals, it is a pleasure to be here. And as we look at some on bayonet fighting tonight, we'll give you a quick rundown. For starters, to Father's Day for yesterday. I think of my own father. I think of the future fathers. I think of the fathers that wear uniforms today, in the past, and in the future, so that aggression can be used, controlled aggression, to make sure children are safe as they sleep in their little beds. Okay, there is calamity happening throughout the world at the end of bayonets, okay, of ammunition, explosive, dumb bombs, and surgical ammunitions. But at the end of the day, it takes an infantryman to hold ground, and an infantryman needs to be ready. And if his bullets run out, whether that be from his discipline on the trigger, firing too many rounds too quickly, not understanding why we carry the amount of ammunition we carry, he needs that backup, and that backup is going to come at the pointing end. But the pointing end also can be used in low-level operations to tell people there's an intent there, that if you mess with people that have camouflage cam cream on their faces and a sharp weapon system, then the end of their rifle, although it might look vicious, but stabbing someone through the thigh is still classed as non-lethal force. You've only got to stab one to make everyone else go, I know what you're talking about now. I won't do it. Also, when you put it on the weapon, it lets people know. And we'll be talking about this tonight and through training, right, that when you put the bayonet on as an order from the platoon commander, that what's going to happen is when we conduct that assault, that we're going to go and take his postcode and we're going to get within the meter and pass that. It's been used for eons, for millennium, works, and it's still valid. Do we carry it? Not really. Why? Because the ever-growing load list for the modern soldier is getting so big that we think that we don't need to use things of the past that have made us famous. But you do need to do it. And controlled aggression, as the standards drop, it's important that we're talking about that tonight. G'day, Ash. How you going? To the fathers, two in particular I want to throw one out to is Benjamin Chuck, who never got to become a father, who was killed in Afghanistan. Okay, then we've got Ian Turner, who was a father who fell from 2 Commando, formerly of 2nd Battalion, and from James Meredith Hupp, which is Jodi's son, who lost his battle with the Black Dog after coming back from Afghanistan. All right, for those fathers, thank you. and to your fathers, and to the future fathers, current fathers, forgotten fathers, fallen fathers, and our forefathers. Lift a glass for those if you've got one in your hand now. Yeah. Sometimes it's a thankless job, but I tell you what's a bloody great one. And if you're not a father, go and try to become one. Have as many as you can have. Because kids will look after you as you grow old and grow weary and your muscles decline. Hey, Lockie, how you going? Hey, Kaz, been watching your videos recently and hopefully joining us infantry. That's excellent. In January, I'm here to ask you what usual morning routine is like. Please answer whenever. Thanks. Lockie, ask again after in this session and we'll get to you. Okay, we don't want to lose grip on where we are. Cassie, the teacher. Good to have you here, mate. And I hope that your gentleman had a good day yesterday. Carl P, and a Cav man to be on the flanks of the infantry. No, you can be inside there, but there's gaps, isn't there? Well, we'll use you to close that gap and then we'll get out and we'll conduct the 4 phases of the attack. Stages, 4 phases of war. And we'll be talking about that tonight. Scotty, how you going, mate? Sorry, guys, first night back after being in hospital again. We need to talk as soon as you can, mate, so we can get to the bottom of what's going on and why you and I are going downhill so quickly. And the stream goes smoothly. Take care all, and I'll watch later when I finish work at 2 a.m. Mate, watch it tomorrow, and then when you can, give me a call as long as you need on the bat phone, mate, and we'll distract you at the minimum. We've got Matto there. Can education about food, shelter, and water gathering lower the current load on diggers' backs? Can education about food, shelter, and water gathering? No, it can't. The reason why it can't, Matto, is most water overseas is considered biologically not able and not potable and would potentially kill you if you had it. Righto? The reason why I've been shitting blood, since East Timor, or second trip I think in 2002, may have something to do with water and biological agents in the waters. Who knows? But yeah, you'll be carrying it equivalent to the actual location you're in. If you're in somewhere like Timor where it feels like it's 45 degrees every single day, no. We use potable water and it normally comes in Everclear bottles that are impossible to put 20 litres in your pack. There's nothing you can really do. It's what it is other people are packing everything, including the kitchen sink, into the digger's pack. The just in case. HR Huff and Stuff just recently found a fallen World War I relative on Ancestry, died in 1916, and he's named at the Villas Bretno Memorial. That's amazing. God bless him, rest in peace, sir. My fella, Douglas Caswell, he died in Fromelles, not that much farther away. Mick Dave, they all hope you're all well. Good to see you, mug again, Kaz. Never heard a lady say that. Thank you, mate. Good to be back. This is my first time back in nearly 2 weeks, and this is about the longest I've ever been away. Press the like if you do. Wingnut, how you going, buddy? Did you get to talk to the other fellow before as a reference? Be interested to see how that went. Emily? Emilari? Okay. G'day, mate. How you going? The Magnificent D, the Army of One. Good evening, all. Happy Father's Day for yesterday, Kaz. My son marched out of Singo on Friday. Got to spend the weekend with him. Just off the phone with him. He's just arrived at 6 RAR. 6 RAR almost got to use their bayonets at Long Tan, 6 Battalion Delta Company. That was a big one. And Declan Kent, g'day Kaz, how are you? I'm not too bad today. I'm not too bad. For those that don't know, there's something going through my system at the moment, like a ex-wife going through bank accounts trying to get everything. No sooner does my hand puff up like a glove full of water, and then it's gone the next day, poof, not trying to offend anyone there, of the Rainbow Nation, and then it's down to my foot. And then I've got this bloody damn club foot that looks like I've dropped a kettlebell on it, and then it just rotates around my body. The only place it's not getting swelling that might need a bayonet to make it go down is in between these skinny chicken legs. G'day, Brady Carr. G'day, mate. How you going? We're going to talk tonight about the bayonet. Okay, the importance of the bayonet. We know the history of the bayonet, that it was attached to the rifle as we went from bladed weapons and then got gunpowder, single shot, muzzle loading, etc. where we also needed something in case we got caught between shots, pants down, bayonet charges, following, etc. So it is important that we understand where it came from, but also look at weapons that have got shorter, okay, they've got more lethal, they carry more ammunition, they've got less likelihood of getting caught with your pants down, because we also hunt in packs and everyone has at least 30 rounds attached to their weapon system, and hopefully the discipline to use it in a way that you don't get caught lacking, or your mate can cover your immediate action while we're in the third stage of the attack, being being the exploitation, where we're going to take the enemy's pits from him, okay, or be amphibia, going actually through a room and taking people out in the urban environment. It also is really good to give people a little bit of a poke to say, get the fuck out of the way, or stay where you are as POWs. It's a good way to control weaker people on controlled aggression, how to use themselves without the multiple syllables of martial arts hand-to-hand combat that can take an eon and still never be used. This is the quickest way to teach aggression and lethality without making the noise of pulling a trigger. It can be used for barring access. It can be used against civilians in your own country domestically, barring access from a vital asset, okay, or entry into a location. Now, there's 100 things ways we can use it, and it is still a valid weapon system. A tool that platoon commanders, it's owned by platoon sergeants, okay, the skill set, hatch if you're out there, and it needs to be understood. And it needs to be understood in a way with not just aggression, but with confidence that you understand the exact reason why we do it. And Australians are famous for using it. It doesn't have to be sharp, but when you push it with purpose. And I'll be talking about that tonight. I've already found some mistakes in this video where this guy, I don't believe, probably done his research before he went into this lesson with these hombres here to teach them about bayonet fighting. Again, the infantry platoon sergeant normally should be the only person that ever teaches bayonet fighting. It is our bread and butter, okay? And the platoon sergeant of an infantry platoon, is the guy that should be one of the tougher guys of a platoon, the more grizzled dog. It doesn't work when platoon commanders do it, so don't do it. Get your platoon sergeant to do it, the senior section commander of an organisation. Carl P, can you, Kaz, you only need to explain an IA. An IA is an immediate action, which means your magazine, okay, you've got an ammunition stoppage, you might have run out of ammunition, you might have a round that is caught in the chamber, you might have there's 100 different things that can go wrong. Well, not really, there's only a few really. But when something goes wrong with your weapon system, rather than stuffing around to keep your focus looking forward, for example, if you're going through a doorway and you had a bayonet on, which would telegraph you a little bit, but what could happen is if you're not expecting to potentially be going in there with lethal means, or lethal purpose, what this gives you is an alternative. Instead of actually using the bang bangs, okay, you can actually use the bayonet to force your way through and push people back. They'll do what you say without saying a word. Everyone can translate what you mean when you have a bayonet on the end of your weapon. Declan, hey Kaz, I'm in the process of applying for the army and I'm going to be a digger, but I don't know what the different battalions are and what they could, what they do. Could you give me a brief summary of what they do, Declan? I can do that, but at the moment, let's not get too sidetracked. For anyone that wants a coach, that is better than the coach that the DFR will give you, get on the bat phone. Simon, can you quickly put in the link to that for people that want to come onto the Patreon so we can hook up a coach call between me and yourselves? Number one, Navy training includes Singleton. No, you won't go to Singleton as Navy. More information, and Air Force Training Victoria, more information. Mate, I don't really cover too much about Air Force at all because I know nothing about it, despite the fact that I've been in planes, including military ones, with coalition forces all my career, as well as naval vessels. I stick to my lane. My lane is infantry, fighting, tactics, leadership. We'll also be talking tonight about green and blue force analysis and why that's so important. Hit the like button, team. Carl P, on guard, high port, advance. Advance is not really one we use. Okay. Left parry, right parry, in, out on guard, ground target thrust, etc. Bayonet the FPV drone. That'd be a good idea. Geez, that'd get you running, wouldn't it? That'd make people want to BFA run a little bit faster if they think they're going to pop because their ass is about to get hit with the pointy stick. Mag not fitted correctly is a stoppage. Yeah, it is, but if you do that, you're a loser. Yeah. And you'll know that's not fitted properly because it'll fall out. Pretty cars. Cooks are qualified to train bayonet, but none have passed. There we go. And thank you for that, Simon. So, the bayonet. You will do bayonet fighting, as Army Reserve. You'll do it as regular Army, and you'll do it at Kapuka with the bayonet assault course. Bayonet fighting is not just done because of its attraction to history and relevance. It's because it can still be used, should be used, and it should be always part of an attack, especially a deliberate attack. What do I mean by that? Picture the bayonet is an extension of a rifle, which is getting shorter and shorter these days. Now, the one we used to use from Carl P here, which has the blood groove, which is going up here, again, the Hun, the Turk, okay, most Asian countries were allergic to this, and this on the end of a 303, is longer than a spear, to tell you the truth. But this weapon system, when used correctly, okay, with the thrust, okay, with the right parry, left parry to knock their weapon out of the way, with the high port ready position, okay, and then you've got the on guard position, keeping your balance, using controlled aggression, okay, voicing a war cry, etc., is meant to take the fight out of the enemy and give him the chance to diddy meow out of there, because very rarely we fight against another civilized nation based on Christian beliefs, which gives them the will to fight. Okay, so it's more likely his training will fail him and he'll be the hell out of there when he sees a control group of professional soldiers that are closing on his position. Now, the way we'd also do this in a deliberate attack, which means H hour. H hour is when, wait 2 seconds. H hour, team. No, that one won't cut it. Let's go to this one, shall we? No, that one won't cut it. I'm doing this for your viewing pleasure. Okay, wait 2 seconds. Brand. Let's go to that second. Okay, so H hour is when there is going to be a time when a FUP forming up point is crossed by a formation of infantry soldiers, armoured soldiers, combination of fighting corps towards an enemy objective. Now, normally what happens is a call sign of infantry will move into that location quietly, will secure that location, which is normally also a position that is an unexpected avenue of attack by an infantry force, and they'll secure that location. And so the assault formation can move in, including its depth. We always have depth. And what will happen is the organisation, whether it be a platoon, okay, you won't do a deliberate attack as a section, whether it be a company, whether it be a battalion, okay, if it's bigger than that, we're in big trouble. Then what will happen is we'll have a thing called the LD, which is a line of departure, which is not necessarily always seen. It can be taped out by a reconnaissance force, and you will stay behind that. And you can stand up, you can't make noise, you don't smoke, you don't fuck around. What occurs is the platoon commander will wait, and he will go past each man and give them an indication, and they'll know when H hour is, and he'll give an indication, a bearing that you will, a distant point, that when you look up, you know, I need to go there and keep on track on that bearing and head towards that location. Some of you are going to be going right into a machine gun. Some of you might be going righto into a flank. Who knows? You'll know soon enough when you get out of there and start moving at the advance. But what happens is when everyone is good to go and everyone knows the job is on, the platoon commander will take a knee. When the platoon commander takes a knee, and platoon commanders, if you're watching this now and you don't practice this, you need to bring it the hell back. And platoon sergeants need to enforce this because this is FUP drills, battle drills. And then what happens is the platoon commander will take his knee, and then from there, if you're still carrying team, he takes out the bayonet and he puts it onto his rifle, and that is like a field signal in itself. And everyone except the gunners then will take their bayonet out and they'll put it on. Now, that is not because the intention is I'm going to get there and this is going to be a hand-to-hand scrap between me and whoever has chosen the biggest mistake of his life to fight Australian soldiers. What it is to let the soldier know, okay, when we've done the preparatory stage, we've done everything we can do to get ready for this. When I move 1 metre forward from where I am and I cross the LD, the line of departure, one of the things you need to know is there's no turning back. The plan is on. Nothing can call us off. We can dwell in location if there is indirect fire coming in, but we are going forward until the objective is taken. And the platoon commander, if you fall, I'm not stopping to help you. No one is stopping to help you except maybe the depth, or if we have combat first aiders that are inside that might give buddy aid, but you're expected to give yourself aid until help arrives. Because if someone else stops to help you, then they're now in a fatal funnel where the enemy has been given a reward for the accuracy of his weapon system, and now you're going to become number two because you're goofing off, emotionally worrying about your buddy, while that guy's going another one. Several seconds later, another casualty, we lose the battle. So you let the screaming happen, and hopefully shock will do its job and you won't know. Of all the people that I've seen that have been blown apart, that have been shot, that have been stabbed, I almost didn't see anyone in any pain. Okay? All of them. Wide eyes, looking up at you like, what the hell just happened? Okay? But the platoon commander will give the signal, bayonet on, bayonet is fixed. When he stands up, you will all stand up. You will know where you are. Left flank, right flank, depth. Okay. Will you be linking up with another call sign that stands up at the same time? Because there's an actual OC about to potentially put his life in danger too. And then the signal will be given. Boom. And we'll step forward. And then you know it's on. And then you'll get up. Your weapon will be in the shoulder. Bayonet on. And you'll be going forward. And this is a message to you that you're not turning back anymore. Okay, the time to be scared is over. Now it's time for action. And you're moving out of there and you'll speed up closer and closer and closer. You'll be speeding up, knowing the second that someone fires from your call sign, it's on. And then we start firing, moving after firing potentially half a mag each at the enemy location to re-win that initiative, put him on the back foot. And as soon as we get close enough, you'll be using the grenade. You'll be using your teeth. You'll be using the bayonet. And it's unlikely you'll be taking prisoners. Okay? So if someone goes to stand up, this might be going in the tummy, in the face, because you don't want to aim for the center of his battle armor. It would mean we're going back to 2000, AD, BC, 200 BC, 44 BC. Where the blade impacts the face, takes the fight out of the man. Okay, we'll watch a bit of this video in a minute. Your comments, are they still coming through? I notice the likes aren't going up. I thought people would be interested in this video. Anyway, let's get to it. What are these guys saying? Just things, Cerberus or Creswell for Navy, depending on what you decide as a sale. There you go. How are we, Kaz? It's Matty Benson's son. G'day, Eli. How you going, mate? 2025 is going to be your year, I think, sir. Might be like deer that get shot by a broadhead of an arrow. They can act like nothing's happened, but drop dead after a minute. Yep. So the aggression is there. This video is going to teach you about bayonet fighting. Again, this is conducted by the platoon sergeant of a call sign. You'll do it at Kapuka. It'll get more lethal at Singleton. Okay? Ground target thrust. We'll use our knee and we'll take that weapon system down and use your entire body weight to push that weapon system through someone if they're on the ground. The right parry, left parry, you won't see that in this video you're about to see. But that is to push the other person's weapon out the way if you were to get in that position. But that should be a one-syllable movement. Bang, tap, not a push, and then straight away the blade should be going at their face, at their neck. The reason why? I used to explain this to soldiers, and I used to explain this to officers. This is something that happens in baseball. When a pitcher wants to force a batter, okay, to reflexively pull their head back, okay, what they can do to actually injure them is throw the ball behind a batter's head, because he knows that you don't go forward, you always go back. So he walks his way back into the ball, and it looks like it's his own fault. Well, with the bayonet, when you thrust at someone's face, they go off balance, they go onto the back foot, okay, and then from there you push home the attack. Well, keep it at the face, and they'll reflexively pull backwards. If you do it at the chest, they might try to fight it away. Everyone balks, and their hands go up in a weird, uncoordinated thing when something's coming at their face, especially porn stars. Hey, Bowbird, how you going, mate? Checking in late from Coffs. Coffs Harbour's one of my favourite places in the world. For some weapon system, the attached bayonet improves the balance of the weapon. I don't know about that. The M9, they used to use the bayonet to keep people's point of aim down in ambushes at night as well, before the night vision equipment got to the standard it is now. Let's watch what that'll do is unlock Kaz's untapped mindset on the importance of the bayonet. Yeah. All right, let's look at a bit of that. I've got to mute myself for a second. G'day, Cobra, how you going? I've got to mute myself so that I don't end up with a station here where you hear the echo. So what we'll do, we'll go back to the start. You don't really need to hear these guys sound off. This is all core. This is probably something similar to Kapuka, etc., because we see males and females, and we see a fair few.
Engineer, mechanical engineer is a vehicle mechanic.
Okay, one of the things I don't understand here, I do understand that advance a little bit. Okay, I understand the vocalization. What I don't understand is when they actually do the on-guard position, they seem to have their weapon straight, okay, at a horizontal to the ground. I don't understand that. Wait. Okay, so I've just been told that the bayonet day was actually taken out of RMC, the Royal Military College for Officers, for a few years. It only came back at the start of this year. Bam. Someone didn't understand the relevance of it, and the RSM should have told them, pull your head in. Okay, you don't get rid of it. There's a practical reason officers stay out of training. Train, but stay out of the training. You're not the subject matter expert on it. Stay in your lane. Thank you very much for that gentleman who knows exactly who he is. Balance normally is better with having the weapon up, and it also protects the face. We cam up, so we also change the actual softness of the modern individual or the young man or woman, so that when the camouflage is on, everyone that is near that person understands that person is here for business. Let's not stuff around. Okay, if you don't look like you have aggression, it can hide emotion. By the way, I've also found where you can get the chalk-based cam kits that someone asked me the other day. I'll be buying some and I'll be giving some out. Okay, so what you're seeing here is a standard clearance that happens before we do military activities. You don't need to do a clearance before you go and do bayonet fighting, team, because when you do bayonet fighting, you can do it while the weapon is on action. As a matter of fact, you probably should. What else we got? Yeah. Yeah, so there's no need to clear weapons before it unless you've come off a live fire, and again, you can do live fire attacks, with bayonets on as well, because it is part of what we meant to do. That's to get rid of, and you saw them standing off there. Again, that can also happen when people start doing odds, evens, do this, do that, pepper potting, etc.
In the bayonet fighting position. How am I supposed to respect you? Oh, pick them up. Why have you got 4 black magazines?
A bit of advice to our British counterparts there. Okay, if you're going to actually conduct an activity, you should be dressed in the same as what your soldiers are that you are training, so that they can see you actually carry out activities, every one of you, and the platoon sergeant should be the most aggressive son of a bitch, with his weapon handling drills, because he's been doing bayonet fighting the most. Another thing with bayonet fighting is, if you end up in the jungle warfare, most of your combat's going to happen within 50 metres of the enemy, where you see each other at the very last moment, and that's an encounter battle you don't want to be part of without some way of, having a way to protect yourself, other than with just a magazine full of weapons that are going to go full of rounds, are going to go fairly quickly. Okay, is there a standard issue combat knife for diggers? There is. Okay, there is for the Steyr, for the EF88. Yep. It's fairly fucking useless,
Once you've been passed, put your magazines away. Take control of your weapon system and look in.
Okay, Corporal Lawrence.
Okay, troops, welcome to your bayonet fighting lesson. Okay, hold your weapon in the bayonet fighting position. Everybody now look in at the bayonet fighting position. 45-degree angle. Bayonet is fitted.
Okay, team. So the weapon they're using there, that was asked by Riley. I believe it's an SA-80. I've got to relook at it again. I'll see it when it comes up. The SA-80 was the service weapon. That's been getting changed now by the British. One thing I wouldn't say to do is, at the moment, he's at the high port position where the weapon is across your chest like so. If that's the case, the left foot should always be out forward for balance as well. The reason why I say that, and one of the things you're going to see in a moment that we do differently in Australia, is we never move backwards, just like the kangaroo doesn't, just like the emu doesn't. What happens is, every time they say high port, okay, the weapon will go up, you take that step forward, and you have your balance. And then if they say on guard, okay, then you can either take a second or third step, one with the right, one with the left, and then you're forward with the weapon at 45 degrees, looking past the blade at what the enemy is going to signify in the activity. But you never just be standing dead still. The reason is, what you can do if you're in a position where you're moving with civilians to the front, okay, or a hostile crowd, or you want to take ground back, you can go from a series of on guard, okay, high port, on guard, high port. And what happens is that extended line of soldiers is contingently taking 1 or 2 steps slowly forward, and that edges and pushes people forward. If I say, if we do what they're saying here, and we say high port, from the on guard position, then you move backwards. We don't move backwards, team. Okay, we don't move backwards. Okay.
Finger is not on the trigger, it's running along the trigger guard. Everybody now adopt this position. When this position is known as the high port position. Looking for a demonstration. High port! High port! Peninsula troop. High port! High port! It's the on guard position. The rifle is in a fight.
Let us know if you're a Kapuk or a Singo, if you have just been doing bayonet fighting, okay? And did you find that it gave you all of the benefits that you needed to feel more aggressive, more controlled, more tough, with your face camouflaged and purpose, get taught how to turn it on, turn it off, controlled aggression. And you should be able to turn it on, turn it off at a moment. A Lance Sergeant? I don't know. We don't have them in Australia. I've never heard of a Lance Sergeant. Similar to a Staff Sergeant, I guess.
In position, the bayonet is going to be facing the targetry which you'll be stabbing, or the enemy in which you'll be stabbing. Any questions? No, Sergeant! Voice note on this. It's on the pistol bit, the finger running along the trigger guard. The finger is not on the trigger. Your leading foot is your left foot steps forward. You will scream, "On guard!" at the top of your voice. Whenever you're shouting on guard, you're about to face an enemy. So have a bit of aggression. I want to see the whites of your eyes when you're screaming on guard at me. Do you understand? Yeah! For a demonstration, relax your weapons. Instructor only. High port! High port! On guard! On guard! High port! High port! On guard! On guard! Few safety points. Obviously today you're going to be using the bayonet. The bayonet is a weapon. Once that bayonet is attached to your weapon system, you'll treat it like a loaded weapon.
Okay, team. What I was going to say there too is the reason why you get everyone to vocalise everything is so they can create their own amplification of confidence. It's the reason why people do it in martial arts as well. It is to give your intent through verbal presentation of aggression to allow the other person to know that is your first warning, so to speak. How effective are bayonets? I've seen in the Ukraine war, how many soldiers don't have them? Or is that just because our soldiers are trained better? Look, it'd be that they're probably not trained at all in the Ukraine. Okay, and just because you don't see them not using them doesn't mean there's not people in the Ukraine and Russia getting their face smashed in with a rock by someone. And just because you don't have a bayonet in your rifle doesn't mean you can't use the same thrust, right parry, left parry, smash, what's it called? Butt stroke, etc. All of those things can happen without a bayonet on. It is teaching you a way without understanding martial arts necessary aggression to use your weapon system. If you smash someone with a Mike 240 Golf, or whether you hit them with a Minimi, whether you hit them with a Maximi, whether you hit them with an SA80, M16 variant, M4, whether you hit them with an EF88 with no bayonet on it in the center of the sternum, you're going to smash it. Okay? All right, don't worry. So that is a good question. How effective is the bayonet? It's very effective, but not just for what people think. One syllable would be thinking about bayonet fighting. Not necessarily. It's about a mental acuity that you give to someone, that the message within themselves, within the warrior mindset, is this is on and we're going to get close enough that you can use the bayonet on the individual. And that happens within the assault. We've got the preparatory stage. Once that is crossed the line of departure, then we get to the assault. And then we're using our weapon systems in extended line. We get to a fortified position or their location. And then what happens, we break into the exploitation. And when the exploitation is on, we're doing the fight through, which normally means on the guts, using the bayonet, using grenades, etc. But when you get down into that trench system, or when you get into their pit, they might have been hiding the entire time out of fear, or laying doggo. But if you've got that bayonet on, right, and you jump down to that trench, you might not have time to shoot, but your weight and momentum is going to push that bayonet to his soul, okay? And you have to be ready to do that. If you hesitate and he doesn't, you're the one that's going to get it. Okay, name a battle where Australians used the bayonet. Put that in comments now, call to action. There's been a lot of them, including Korea.
You could seriously damage someone if you don't think about your drills. Does everyone understand me? Yes, Sergeant! If you hear one of the permanent staff or any of you give the word of command, stop! You're going to freeze in whichever position you are in. Do you all understand that? Yes, Sergeant!
Azu, that is wrong. I do believe that we should have them. We've got too much equipment that we carry. What should we get rid of? I don't know, because everything feels like you're meant to have it. But the bayonet is a mindset that we should never get rid of a skill that we need. Matty, this is a great video, Kaz. I'm a civilian, but have a young fella in the army. Really interested to hear the inside detailed information on military fighting. Thank you very much, Matto. And the importance that people need to take away from this, that the bayonet is not just about, a unarmed, a combat hand-to-hand between two men. It's about a mental message to people. I have used bayonets attached in East Timor at a wheat silo when there was Timorese, thousands of them, who were getting ready to storm and take wheat out of a wheat silo. Now, we had a small area, like 300, a gateway where they were pushing and pushing and pushing on that, and the section commanders got us to fix bayonets. And then from there, we stood our ground, and all of a sudden, those thongs come to a screeching halt because no one wanted to be the one that was pushed on the bayonets of the Australian soldiers who weren't there to hurt them. But if they had got to that wheat, they might have ended up starving to death. And I guarantee that wheat wouldn't have been used for food. It would have been taken off from the strong, taken off the weak. So we made sure that didn't happen, and we were successful. Gallipoli, absolutely. If you haven't seen that movie, Break Out of Jail, go there now. Gallipoli, especially at the Battle of the Neck, where 3 waves of the 10th Battalion, went through. Absolutely heartbreaking to watch the movie. All done with the bayonet. And then we see the light horsemen, where they weren't actually cavalry, were they, Carl? And what happened was when they closed with the Turk, who fucked up and didn't have the pluck to stay and fight, what occurred was the Australians on horseback, instead of dismounting and carrying out their cavalry, their light arch, what happened is they stayed mounted. They didn't have swords because they weren't cavalry. They didn't have lances because they weren't cavalry. What they did have was the bayonet that looked exactly the same as that. And they got off and they gave that to the Turk, and the Turk fled or put his hands up. Yep. There was Bretno that was used through the Western trenches on almost every single attack. You'll see every German, every Canadian, every Kiwi, every Brit, every Aussie, every Frenchman, every single one of them had a bayonet attached. No, he was talking about, no, I don't believe in pistols. Yeah. Last Cavalry bayonet assault, Shiva, absolutely. Battle of Lone Pine, yes, absolutely. That was some of the fiercest fighting that happened in all of Australia's history with Australians involved. They believe when the guys at Lone Pine went into those trenches that had rooftop construction over the top of them, that it became like a catacomb battle where guys were almost fighting below. And when that fight was over, there's guys that would actually lost their mind, had gone insane. And what was sad was there was a lot of people that actually wounded, shot, or killed their own men, because they didn't differentiate, between the targets, or the fear that they had and the anxiety of that close fight that they had in the subterranean battle in the trenches. She would have been swords. No, Simon, there was no swords. They were infantry, okay? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was considered the last great charge, but okay, let's get back.
In the event of a major injury, look in front of you, you can see a med pack and stretcher. Okay, we'll use that to deal with the initial injury. Bit of a range layout for you then. Where you are, take box that you're in is known as pen. Whenever I say pen, you'll move into the pen and adopt the position that you are in now. You all understand that?
Yes, Sergeant!
Look over your right shoulder now. You can see a target with mine tape on it. That will be known as the enemy. Over your left shoulder. That target is known as hell. At some point during this lesson, I may choose to send you to hell. If I send you to hell, you will shout hell and you attack hell as if you are going through hell.
Okay, one of the great things about this training is it can also be used as a punishment, or we'd call it a reward. So as often as you want to make people listen, take it seriously. So you normally have a distant point. PDIs are very good at this. It'll happen all the time in battle PT, which is normally a double session, which means 80 to 100 minutes. You are guaranteed to all that spaghetti on your shirt already. It is going to be trauma for you. Every time you know you're doing battle PT, looks fun on a video, but you're in for strife. So what happens is they take the air out of your lungs, and then you will goddamn listen to every word that is told to you, because you are so shit scared that someone's going to get something wrong, and the torture will keep going on and on and on. This is a cardio session. If you are not fit with running, if you go in as the minimum, fitness level or the female level, you will not be ready for this. You got some females in here, but this is also running at the pace of all core. But you can continue this on over and over and over again, and you can see by the metrics of the slowest people when to, slow it down, much. But believe me, they'll listen to every word you say, and this is where we see where people make mistakes. When they get the tunnel vision come in, this is a good way to season your forces. Teach them how to operate in the last 5 minutes of the footy game. That's where we win games. Yep. So by taking their oxygen away, you see who starts to make the mistakes, because they're starting to think, I just want this to stop. And the weakest person, the fattest person, the slowest person, they will fail first. And so you can use them like a canary in the cave to know what level the people are at. But there's no quitting. You can't quit. And we make you drink a water bottle 40 minutes before the session, so your body's got an entire absorption period without the stress, so there's no need to give them a drink either. Righto. I think they're about to learn what it's like to go to the hell bit. Let's see.
With a good attitude and aggression. Do you all understand me?
Yes, Sergeant!
That is your target there. Happy?
Yes, Corporal.
That is your target there. You happy?
Yes, Corporal!
That's your target there. You happy?
Yes, Corporal!
That's your target there. You happy?
Yes, Corporal!
Who is dangerous here?
Me, Sergeant!
Yeah, who's dangerous?
Me, Sergeant!
Right. First thing we're going to cover today is how to kill an enemy of you. There's two ways to kill an enemy. They both result in you thrusting that bayonet into his chest. You'll be given the high port position, the on guard position. Now, as you start moving forwards, you'll be holding onto the pistol grip and the handguard of the weapon system. You will thrust the bayonet into the target to your front. As you pull it out, you'll check your bayonet still fitted, bayonet still fitted, and you'll have got the high port position. Everyone have to say fire.
Yes, Sergeant!
Ways of doing this, you can just move in and use the weight of your body to thrust. Look in for a demonstration. Instructor only. On guard! On guard! High port! High port! On guard! On guard!
Okay, also without being a dick here, this is where we've actually got to point out the obvious too. Do you really think that a female has a chance against a male if it actually comes to, a fight? Because you're not going to let a female off. If they come in front of you with a bayonet or a weapon system, I'm going to kill them as easy as I'm going to kill a dude. Yep, I'm not going to hold back because it's a chick. Now, if a chick has got to step up into the big leagues and fight against guys that roll with their fuel as testosterone versus estrogen, you all know which one's going to win. And I guarantee when that bayonet fighting situation occurs, you're not going to be, you're going to be knackered. You'll have been firing moving. Okay, your adrenaline is going to be going through the roof. And if you have an adrenaline dump, your energy's gone completely. Just a point of consideration without me trying to be a dick.
Gun times, enemy! Standing, advance! Ah! Ah! Fire! Checkmate! High points! High ball! Any questions with anything you've just seen there, troops?
No, Sergeant!
I reckon that was an excellent demonstration, actually. It's not the way we do it in the Australian Army, but that section commander, he should be proud of himself. He went in there, he showed purpose, he showed control, he showed lethality, capability, the right guy for the job. And now what they'll do is they've given them the test of the minimum standard required. Watch this way. One thing they didn't do before was give a historical example to the soldiers, male and female, of why this is so important, and a battlefield historical example to amplify the statement of relevance in this lesson. You will be taught the art of the bayonet taking by the end of a sharp point. The reason why this is so important is, did you know? Blah, 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 give an arousal, etc. Be aggression. So everyone knows after that, holy shit, I haven't seen the soldiers, I haven't seen the sergeant this aggressive. You might find the platoon commander may not even be there for this activity, but every single staff member will be there, ready to go, and the platoon is going to sense there is a difference in the temperature of the training today, and you're about to see some of your instructors actually turn into soldiers and give you the example of why they're there. Leading by example, aggression, capability, lethality, and then you're going to go, there is a different person behind that guy who puts a hand on my shoulder, who has that sense of humour. He was different. There you go. This is the time to bung it on. Okay. Riley's saying, for someone looking up to join up is Special Forces more of something you don't ask but get given, and what are the chances? Okay, unless you're going for direct entry commandos, which still have to go to Kapooka, still have to go to the School of Infantry, what I'd say is just put it in the back of your mind until you've done all your training, get to the battalion, and then you haven't amplified, this is what I'm doing, before you realise just being infantry is hard enough. So wait till you get to the battalion, learn how to be the best version, the best soldier you can be, and then ask yourself, was that a pipe dream for me, when you actually see what Special Forces guys look like, act like, talk like, represent. Yep, I just found out Matty Morris go to Zero Limits and watch Matty Morris's latest one that's coming out with a guy called Weeksy. I did courses with him. He ended up being the RSM of SASR. You can't get any higher than that. Champion effort. Nice one, mate. Cyber Networks. Wow. Caught Kaz live. Haven't seen him live since 2021. Been out in the in the reality and life much. I shit me dax on average once a day out in the wild because of this Crohn's disease, and I've been back to hospital again. In holding, which is gay. Holding is always gay, Layden. It sucks, man. It's purgatory, my mate. Okay, let's get back to...
Back guard! Back guard! High points! High points! Admirable! Advance! Ah! High points!
Sorry, Sesh Commander, you are doing a good job, but what I do recommend is before you actually do that, don't hit it at a run. If you lose balance, if there's water before the target, slippery surfaces, blood, etc., the last thing you want to do is lose your balance and end up being the victim. Position with your balance there, while you're also representing with aggression, and then use that weapon system with purpose and balance and get the job done. Sorry, mate. Sorry, but you deserve that because you're wearing a bum pack. The most horrible, pride-stealing piece of equipment that's ever been on a man's equipment. And the worst thing is, I'm talking about that thing on his arse here. It's called a bum pack. It feels like a pillow. And when you're meant to be staying awake and you've got a pillow attached to your ass, it's lean back. And before you know it, you're in the land of Nod, dreaming of England. London. Hey, Selene, how you going, mate?
On guard! High ball! High ball! Advance. Any questions for anything you can see there, Drew?
No, Sergeant!
The enemy! The enemy! Ah!
So that's pre-fatiguing what you're watching them do there. This is heart rate up, getting them back, listening, keeping the pressure on, trying to simulate what is occurring. Now, when people have only got to do 8 push-ups to get in the army, and then they've got to do this run down, core, observe, aim, fire, which we do in fire and movement, you're going to have people there that are already knackered. Times that over and over and over for 100 minutes, this can be absolutely exhausting.
Start the bayonet fighting itself. What you're all going to do now, you discovered your bayonets. Discovered on top of your weapon. Do that now.
Okay, here is one we haven't spoken about yet. Most of you, if any of you, may not realise this is also a battlefield drill. When your weapon has a bayonet in the weapon system, naturally it sticks in the ground fairly well, fairly easy. So what else can we do when we have a bayonet in the end of the weapon in an assault where there's long grass? We're in the jungle. Okay, what happens is if someone is wounded, if someone is dead, then what we do is we get their bayonet and we drive it into the ground beside them. Okay, and then if they're dead, you put their hat on top of it, And what that becomes is a symbol once we go through the end of the exploitation and we go into the reorganisation and we need to go and collect our dead, collect our wounded, there's actually a marker that can actually represent their location. That is another reason why the bayonet can be used on a weapon as a casualty or KIA marker. Sounds easy? It's not. And you can use the enemy's weapon for that as well, by the way.
Stop the high ball position, and from now on, you will not stand still. Everybody now, mark time. High ball! High ball! High ball! High ball! High ball!
Okay, normally what we do in Australia too is we'll set you so those two ranks face each other. And the reason why we do that is to make you cognizant of the dangers of your equipment. Now, the reason we also do that is so that if I'm across from Carl, and we've got Cassie who's across from Simon Powell, and they've got their weapons up there, okay, in the high port, then on guard, okay, and they're doing their drills towards each other, right parry thrust, right parry, in, out, on guard, then what happens is you're superimposing the person straight across from you as your enemy. Okay, what they'll say is run through. When they say run through, then your weapon will be held up with your bayonet in the air and you'll actually run through each other's ranks without running into each other. Can it go wrong? Yeah, it can go wrong. Big boys playing for real.
First detail only. Can mark it time. First detail only. On guard!
On guard!
High ball!
On guard!
On guard!
On guard!
One enemy! Standing at the wall! Advance! Get screaming! Check bayonets!
Check bayonets!
Second detail, move forward, please. Move forward. Look on there. Keep your legs moving.
Third detail, listen in.
Second detail only.
Okay, well, a beautiful message here that from Yana Lowy. Hi, Kaz. I'd like to thank you for providing a lot of insight and great advice. I've been studying along your path, watched a lot of videos. You're the only one who did give out information. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. And I bless you for being here tonight. G'day, Connor, up there. I see ya. Ozzo was saying up there that all the staff at the Bayonet Assault Day, that day I learnt the true meaning of controlled aggression. Our captain or corporal, who is very calm and gentle man, became an absolute fighter. Yep, you got to know when to turn it on. Yeah. Every good man should be dangerous. Every father should be able to be dangerous. You know, brother, etc. Toxic masculinity, not so much. Or if you see it, you should be able to counter it, whether it be on a train, whether it be in the street. What you walk past is what you accept. Hi, guys from the West. 61 views only, 12 likes. Come on, we can do better. Hey, thanks, Johnny. Holy shit, it's coming in now. 37 likes. Declan's a good name, by the way. What we're seeing as well here with the guys and gals is we're starting to see that they're starting to, not keep up with each other, not listening in. So this would be an appropriate time, if they were beside each other, to make them do a run through again. At this stage, I believe they're going to go and make them do some ground and pound, go and do some fire and movement. Carl saying, Riley, I recommend get on Patreon, and then you can have a one-on-one conversation with Kaz and get in the depth information. Not only that, you can make a bit of a battle buddy too, so I can be in your corner. 60 minutes, I see that, Simon. Thank you very much. It keeps me level, but it also means that I'm not going to waste your time, because to many people, this is an excellent subject, but others are here out of just pure loyalty, and I appreciate that too. That's a great name, The Mission. The Mission. All right, let's get to it.
On guard. On guard! One time, the walk.
Just a call out. If the guys from this video that are watching this, that fella that's closest to us there, mate, well done. Well done, lad. Really, really good effort. Really, really aggressive. I like him. I wish he was on my side.
Again! One time, standing enemy at the wall. Advance! Let's go! Okay, we've now learned how to kill a standing enemy. We've learned how to kill an enemy on the ground. So what we're going to move on to next is how to kill multiple enemies. You're always going to be fortunate.
Get down! Get down! Both buckles on the ground! Clear!
Okay, this is also a fantastic activity that you can do as an instructor at the School of Infantry or Kapuka to simulate the phase before bayonet fighting occurs, which is the actual assault itself before it gets to the fight through, which is done on its guts. So if you do this for 50 metres, every 5 metres, run down, crawl, observe, aim, fire, run down, crawl, observe, aim, fire, crawl, etc. And you continue to do that. And then for another 20 minutes, 20 metres, okay, do odds and evens, leopard crawl, etc. And then, okay, everyone now stand up. From there, on guard, and then high port, on guard. Okay, then let them go on their attack lanes. That's a great way to simulate, okay, the second and third phase of the, stage of the attack. Okay, back in 99, when I did this course, my bayonet ended up on top of my rifle instead of its normal position. Ruined the barrel totally. Happy times. Yeah, Big Caesar, I love your name, by the way. Now they use the red gun so we don't ruin the weapon systems. But quite often bayonets will get destroyed during this, and that's fine. The Army's a big organisation, and probably spends less money than on weapon systems than it spends on batteries and bloody computers. So good to see that you put the aggression in, Big Caesar. I expect nothing less. As a matter of fact, Big Caesar, there's your gladius, mate. Thank you very much. Thanks for your service over 2,000 years ago. You don't get in trouble for breaking it.
Let's go, come on!
And by the way, team, the whole time you're doing this, don't think for a moment you're not getting observed. They know exactly who's at the front. They know exactly who's at the back. But the person that puts in the most can also end up being the one at the back. So don't think by coming last, that also means that you weren't up to the task. What it means is that you might have amplified your position. I'm not saying to keep some in reserve, but you will see some soldiers, especially on hardcore in the School of Infantry, at the end can ultimately almost end up failing because they do the lion's share of what to compensate for others that aren't up to it.
High points! High points! High guard! Multiple enemies! At the wall! Advance! Ah! High points! Take bayonet! High guard! Ah! High points! Take bayonet! Guard! High points! High points! High guard! Enemies! At the double! Advance! Action!
Face my way. Face away towards me.
Okay, so what you're watching here, team, is this is their advanced training where now they're going to be simulating, going across the line of departure and going down a bayonet lane. You'll be doing that at Kapuka. You'll be doing that at the... Bob Loudon. G'day, Loudy. Here you go, mate. Are we talking about the light horse again? Mounted infantry, those good-looking bastards that could ride horses, but then didn't use them when they went to Gallipoli. There you go. So you're watching now. Oh, geez, get back, staff. You've got to be really on the ball when you're also a section commander or staff or other people around people with bayonets, because there's some uncoordinated, extremely tired individuals, and they can make a good drills at lass. Good job. She's doing very well there with her controlled aggression. Look at this goofball. His real name is not Calba. Look at that, gorilla in the mist. Oops. Fog of war. There we go. Yep, there you go. You've got to be careful of that. You've got to have that balance, team. Aussie Anzac, great name. G'day, Aussie Anzac. How was he holding his weapon then? He didn't have it by the pistol grip, I don't believe. the bayonet team. You know, if you hold it actually up the on guard position, okay, then you're going to actually, when you have it on guard, on guard, yeah. When you're on the on guard position, you can see the bayonet is on in front of you. All the photos are starting to come through of all of our members on Patreon as they've done their bayonet fighting. Okay, wait a sec. Let's see what he's got to say.
I'll be trying to set up her bright. Today that was bayonet training with Peninsula Troop. The aim of that and used controlled aggression. Look forward to their next lesson, which is battle casualty drills, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, fantastic point that we can bring up there. With that sergeant there, that sergeant instructor, the senior instructor of that call sign, okay, what this allows him to do is give a conclusion and a summary on their performance during bayonet fighting, points to remember, main points to remember, etc. And this is where he can make shit up. If they've been a bad platoon, he can say, we need to do more, you know, because you didn't meet the standard required. Yeah, and that is how you get people back in line. That's it. You stuffed up. We're going to go and do more training. You know, we're going to reward you with some bayonet fighting, and then you can put the hammer down. No one wants to do it. You know, it is real hard work. Once you remember, Riley, make sure you message Kaz and tell him a time that suits you, and he'll call and he'll take over. Absolutely. I love talking to you cats, you know. Just remember, for those guys that don't know, the last few weeks I have been absolutely man down. I've still been doing shitloads of the calls that come through, but I just haven't been making content. You know, at any given time, one of your hands is busted up, you know, with this infection that's moving around my body, some sort of parasite. You know, I've had partners before. I know what parasitical infection feels like. But guys, I hope you really enjoyed or took something away from the bayonet fighting. And if I was to make a conclusion or a summary here, remember that the bayonet fighting is not necessarily about just locking horns with an enemy. Okay, it's about the mental message to a soldier that carries a bayonet, especially when he's 343, that weapon system reminds you at any stage that goes on that you're going to take the enemy's postcode by force, and that the inventiveness of the mind on how you're going to use the actual bayonet, that's all going to come down to your ability, you know, to, wait 2 seconds, Brand, let's go to this circle. I like this one. Comments. Okay. It's important that you understand that the bayonet is a tool that can be used, and what it can also do is it can alleviate the requirement as rules of engagement. This is a step prior to necessarily having to switch the safety catch to fire. Don't think that it's out of date. It is still very, very important. Don't forget it. Get the platoon sergeant to do it. To train a platoon every now and then. Once you've done it once you've done it twice, you never forget it. You know, ground target, thrust. Okay, don't stab your foot. You know, controlled aggression. It is the very, what would you say, life force of the infantry soldier, also the support soldier, to show they can step it up at a moment's notice. If as soon as you say that something is not important or not needed anymore, guess what? The time will come where it's needed. No one thought before Russia rolled into the Ukraine that we were going to see two conventional Christian-based countries, you know, fighting each other in trenches, in hand-to-hand combat, grenades, you know, and using rocks as weapons again. And that's happening on a daily basis. Okay, so Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit to all of those in harm's way. You know, God bless you, you know, defending your nation instead of just running. Okay, don't just become a refugee. Stay and fight for your country. Yep, and that is how you improve things. All right. So, guys and gals, thank you very much for tonight. I hope you look at the bayonet in a different way. You know, it is the fighting the dog. that will determine when a call sign of individuals break cover from an unsuspected location, and they've got bayonets on their weapons. Would you stay and fight? Tough one. Yeah. I reckon ISIS would be allergic to them too. Cav mounted infantry. I know Carl P loves hearing that one. I think he tells himself that when he shaves. Is there any questions you have for me, guys and gals, before we get the hell out of here and allow you to absorb your Monday night, which is almost a wasted day of the week, really, isn't it? It feels great to be back. Thank you, guys and gals. Dwayne, just a quick reminder, if you haven't given this video a like, please show Kaz the respect for his time, or feel free to donate some spare S's. Become a member. Go green. You'll see yourself go green in chat. It also supports the channel. It's not cheap to run a channel like this, because YouTube is not a fan of us. Bobby, Carl, not Cab, they didn't fight in horseback. They rode in action and dismounted and fought in infantry. That's true. That is true. The whole point of the light horse was to use their horses as a vehicle to get to the fight. When they get to the forming up point, or when they get past the preparatory stage and the assault begins, that was meant to be done on foot. Sadly, all their horses were put down at the end. Okay, Big C's was saying Maori battalions were known for bayonet fighting. Absolutely they were. The Australians and the New Zealanders, the Anzacs, were infamous for their bayonet fighting skills. Okay, guys, does anyone have any fitting questions? I appreciate your time. G'day, Just Things. Thank you very much for that. I saw what you did there. It's by the scruff of the neck and forced a uniform onto you. Well done, sir. Thank you very much. Can we get some appreciation for Just Things there? And, I really enjoyed tonight. Thanks, Kaz, for a very informative live chat. You're the best, Jelena. That's a lovely name, and thank you very much. I wish all the girls said that about me, to tell you the truth. I hope you appreciated it, guys. D, that's enough out of you. You can't help yourself. Thank you very much, mate. And D, to your son, mate, how proud must you be right now? When can we talk again? We keep talking about talking again, but we never get around to it. And D, I really appreciate the fact that you've got a dog in the fight, with your boy being there. That this gives a little bit of clarity, just not from a DFR perspective. Understand, guys and gals, I'll quickly do a little bit of a monologue before I get out of here. I had a conversation a few days ago with one of our new Patreon members, and the excitement in his goddamn voice was almost like, is this true, what you're saying? Is this the life I'm about to begin? Because he was only 18 years old. And the quickest way I explained to him, understanding there's a lot of people over the age of 30 that watch this channel too, and probably think to themselves, if only I'd followed my calling when I was younger. Remember this, if there is 100 people that are in year 12 that are getting ready to get out of school right now as they do their exams, almost none of them know what they want to do when they get out with passion behind that mission. It might be of money. It might be the pursuit of getting their family off their back, doing something for the sake of doing something, but then potentially signing themselves up to 4 years as an apprentice, which doesn't always work out. And it's not because they're not great lads. It can be because the relationship doesn't work between the tradie and the tradesman, and the apprentice, and sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes I realise this is not what I want to do. But when you get in the military at 18 or 19 years old, hey, Betty, how you going, mate? Can we get some thanks for these guys here too? They're always supporting the channel. You don't need to pay, but at least press like and subscribe because we love you and we want to help you in the future. Thanks, Kaz. Is hay fever a daybreaker for someone wanting to join RAR? You just don't tell anyone. Mo's like this, you're going to be fine with a spear grass. So when someone goes to join the army, naturally that doesn't make sense to anyone that knows that person except their dad, normally, who couldn't get the guy to shut up about it. And that's the same if they're RAF. It's the same as their Navy. It's the same as their cops, etc. And well done to Pete out there that is a paramedic. He's fully qualified now, angel on the street. But don't wait for people to understand your mission. When you go to join the military, that is a solo journey until you meet your brothers and sisters that have exactly the same calling. And then you're going to realize, I'm fucking home. And the rest of your life can become a blur because you are in the current of those that think the same as you. You could call it an echo chamber, or you can say it's just a play. One thing I will tell you from someone who's 53 years old who throws more wisdom than punches is if you make the decision and you make it right and it's your decision and you stick by it, you're never going to regret it ever again. Ever again. And I don't know too many other jobs that think that way. Every single day can be a new inspiration, a new story, and as a book, it gets thicker and thicker and thicker as your legacy builds, and those that know you and respect you and love you, will tell others on behalf of you, this is the man you can be. Who dares wins. That's not just about SASR. That is about Army Reserve. Reclaim your life. Reclaim your fitness. Get back to the fucking pack with the wolves. It's about going to the RAR. It's about going to the transport. It's about going to artillery. It's about getting with the people that are most like you. So it's not a job anymore. It's you hanging out with your buddies, getting paid, and immersing yourself in a life, and giving yourself the best chance to be the boy, the man that this boy can be. Skater boy. What have we done here? Riley, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very, very much. Okay, no more donations tonight, team. No more donations. That's more than enough to keep me in red chicken. And what else we got here? Aussie. Okay, that's more than enough for some chicken. Okay, thank you very much. These donations, team, just so you do know, I spend my money on the channel, but the money you donate either goes to the causes that we go to, or it goes to a trading account for my daughter one day if this disease I've got claims me early. Thank you very much. Cheers for a great stream. I'm glad you appreciate it. It's great to be back. Happy Father's Day, guys. And I know that you might feel outnumbered, that the combat arms lifestyle might be outdated. Why would you do it? Well, I tell you what, Australia is worth fighting for. I would never become a refugee from Australia and run to somewhere else. You stay here, you bleed here, and you provide the biological requirement for a man to provide and protect. Provide and protect. 343, be the watchdog. Don't be stupid. Don't die for a dumb cause. But when the time comes, a man's got to be able to bite. So guys and gals, I believe in your mission. That's why we have this channel, and don't be afraid of the cold water. Just hop the fuck in. See you later. The bayonet is important, and it's the only thing that stands between you and someone who wants to hurt those that you love. All right? So let's do it to them before they do it to us. Let's get ourselves dangerous and have a big heart. And remember that one day someone's going to be saying your name in past tense. So let's make sure that your life stood for something, meant for something. Because I couldn't imagine getting in my 50s and then thinking what I could have been, should have been, didn't do. All right. Thank you very much, guys. Simon, I hope you feel good. To all of those on Patreon, I'm back, baby. I'm back. I look forward to hearing from you. And that's me in the circle, in the trenches, and in the corner. It's me in the spot. Learning my religion. Thank you very much, guys. I enjoyed tonight. Okay, if you want more, ask for more, and you will get it, because I am back. I'm going to paint some Romans tomorrow. And, for all those that are serving, thinking about serving, future serving, fathers, mothers of sons, the respect goes out to all of you equally. Cut the cake up, diversity, equity. Take it easy. I hope you took something away from it. Welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. You filthy animals.